Somewhere in the darkness of a rainforest floor, a soft-bodied creature walks straight into the middle of an army ant colony. No armor, no venomous sting strong enough to matter, no army of its own. By every rule of nature, it should be dead in seconds. It isn't. It has lived there for weeks. How does something this fragile survive inside a fortress built entirely to kill it? In the next few minutes, you're going to find out exactly how a spider tricks the most efficient killing machine in the insect world. And once you understand the trick, you'll never look at an ant colony the same way again. Army ants don't build permanent nests. They move in living rivers, hundreds of thousands strong, devouring everything in their path. Scorpions, beetles, small lizards. Anything that isn't one of them gets torn apart within seconds. There is no negotiation, no mercy, just a single rule written into their biology. If you're not us, you die. Here's the part most people don't know. These ants are nearly blind. They don't see their enemies. They smell them. Every member of the colony carries an identical chemical signature, a scent password shared by everyone born into that nest. Get the scent wrong, even slightly, and the response is instant and total. And yet, somewhere inside that churning mass of mandibles, a spider sits untouched. It doesn't fight. It doesn't hide in some distant crevice. It walks among them, brushes past soldiers, and sometimes even rests inside the nursery, surrounded by the colony's own eggs. Nothing attacks it. Nothing even notices it. Scientists studying these colonies noticed something strange decades ago. Every so often, a spider would appear inside the ant trail, moving with the colony as if it belonged there. At first, they assumed it was hiding. Then they watched closer. It wasn't hiding at all. It was walking in plain sight. No claws to fight off a swarm. No armor plating thick enough to survive a coordinated attack. If this spider makes one wrong move, thousands of ants respond within milliseconds. So what is it doing differently? What does it have that lets it pass unnoticed among an army of natural-born killers? Here's the twist. The secret isn't strength. It isn't speed. It isn't camouflage of color or shape. The spider's real weapon is something you can't see at all, something the ants themselves can't detect as fake. And once you understand what it is, the whole horror of this relationship becomes clear. To understand the trick, you have to understand how ants actually experience reality. They don't build a picture of the world through sight. They build it through scent. Every ant is coated in a thin layer of chemicals called cuticular hydrocarbons, an oily fingerprint unique to each colony. This scent isn't just identification. It's a password, checked constantly, on every single contact. When one ant touches another, its antennae read that chemical signature instantly. Match the password, you're family. Fail the password, even by a fraction, and the colony treats you as an invading enemy. So how does a spider fake a password written in chemistry it doesn't naturally produce? It steals it. The spider seeks out ant larvae, or sometimes vulnerable workers, and rubs its own body against them, over and over, absorbing their exact hydrocarbon signature into its own exoskeleton. Slowly, methodically, the spider builds an invisible disguise made of stolen chemistry. It isn't hiding its scent. It's replacing it. Layer by layer, contact by contact, it becomes chemically indistinguishable from the very colony that would otherwise tear it apart on sight. This isn't camouflage. This is identity theft. You'd think a perfect scent match would be enough to survive. It isn't. Ants also read movement, vibration, and rhythm. A creature that walks too smoothly, too slowly, too differently, draws suspicion even with a passing scent. The spider needs a second layer to its disguise, and it has one. Watch this spider closely, and you'll notice something unsettling. It doesn't move like a spider anymore. It moves with the same erratic, jittery cadence as the ants around it. Quick starts, sudden stops, frantic changes in direction. It has learned to mimic not just their smell, but their rhythm of life. Look even closer, and the disguise gets stranger. Some of these spiders lift their two front legs into the air as they walk, waving them the way ants wave their antennae. A spider has 8 legs. Ants have 6 legs and 2 antennae. To fool a blind colony, the spider fakes the difference. In certain species, this deception goes even further, down into the shape of the body itself. A false constriction appears across the spider's midsection, a fake waistline mimicking the 3-part structure of an ant's body. Under close inspection, this soft-bodied predator has reshaped itself into a walking forgery. At this point, you might be asking, why would evolution push a creature this far, into this level of obsessive disguise? Because the reward on the other side is enormous. This colony isn't just a place to hide. It's a fortress packed with unguarded food, unprotected offspring, and endless opportunity. Most nature documentaries stop at the spider hides among the ants. But that's not the full story. This spider isn't just seeking shelter, it's stealing. It feeds on the colony's own eggs and larvae, sometimes right there inside the nursery, using its stolen scent as cover for an ongoing heist. Picture it, deep inside the colony, surrounded by thousands of the ant's own developing young, this imposter quietly picks off eggs one at a time. The very insects sworn to defend that nursery with their lives are standing guard beside the thief that's slowly emptying it, and they have no idea. In some documented cases, the deception goes even darker. The spider doesn't just eat eggs, it picks off isolated worker ants themselves in the black tunnels away from the main trail, where no witnesses can spread the alarm. One ant vanishes. The colony marches on, unaware anything is wrong. Here's what makes this so tense. The disguise isn't permanent protection. It's a performance that must never stop. One mistake, one moment of carelessness, and the colony's tolerance ends instantly. This isn't a spider casually living in a peaceful home. It's a predator performing a role with its life on the line, every second. To understand the stakes, you need to understand exactly how fast these ants react to a threat. Their vision might be poor, but their chemical and vibrational sensitivity is extraordinary. A foreign scent, a foreign vibration, a foreign rhythm of movement, any of it, can trigger response within a fraction of a second. If the spider's disguise slips, even slightly, there's no warning shot, no retreat, no second chance. The nearest ants lock on immediately, releasing an alarm pheromone that spreads through the colony like wildfire. Within moments, dozens, then hundreds of ants converge on the exact spot the mistake occurred. Once that alarm spreads, there is no escape for an exposed intruder. Mandibles clamp down from every direction at once. The colony doesn't retreat once it commits. It doesn't pause to reassess. Within a minute, whatever triggered that response is reduced to nothing recognizable. This is the price of one wrong move. And yet, somehow, this fragile imposter rarely triggers that response. Every motion has been refined by evolutionary pressure, so intense that only the most convincing performers survive to reproduce. The clumsy ones died out generations ago. What's left is a lineage of natural-born method actors, perfected through pure survival pressure. There's another layer to this deception that few people know about. Ants also communicate through subtle vibrations. Tiny signals pass through touch and substrate that reinforce trust between nestmates. Some researchers believe the spider must also avoid producing stress vibrations, the kind a frightened, foreign creature naturally gives off. Think about what that means. This spider must remain physically and behaviorally calm while surrounded by the most dangerous colony on the forest floor. Every hour, every day, one flinch, one panicked movement under pressure could betray it instantly. Its survival depends on a kind of relentless, biological composure. Here's the strange contradiction buried in all of this. Army ant colonies are considered one of nature's most extreme security systems, engineered over millions of years to detect and destroy anything that isn't a nestmate. And yet, their own obsession with chemical trust is exactly what the spider exploits. The colony's greatest strength, Its absolute reliance on scent identity becomes its greatest vulnerability. Because the ants trust that chemical password so completely, they never think to question a creature that smells right. It isn't a flaw in their intelligence. It's a flaw baked into the very system that keeps them alive. In certain observed cases, this trust goes even further than tolerance. Ants have been seen treating these disguised intruders the way they'd treat their own kin, occasionally moving them, occasionally responding to them the way they respond to a nestmate in distress. The imposter isn't just ignored, it's protected. Imagine being trusted by an entire army of killers, carried gently past the exact soldiers built to destroy intruders like you, all while you quietly consume their unborn young. There's no anger in this story, no malice, just cold, evolutionary efficiency, a predator that found the one gap in a perfect defense. To really grasp the tension here, you need to understand the sheer scale of what this spider is walking through. Army ant swarms can number in the hundreds of thousands, sometimes over 1 million individuals, moving as a single coordinated organism, capable of stripping a lizard to bone within an hour. Now, picture navigating that, day after day, with a body built for entirely different survival strategies. Never sighted, never armored, never poisonous enough to matter. One misstep among 1 million potential witnesses, and there is no version of this story where the spider walks away. This deception doesn't happen instantly. Researchers believe the chemical camouflage builds gradually, reinforced through repeated contact with the colony's brood and workers. It's not a switch that flips on. It's a slow, deliberate process, almost like an infiltrator spending weeks earning the trust of a target before making a move. And once that disguise sets in, the spider doesn't simply visit the colony. It lives inside it, potentially for extended periods, feeding, moving, and surviving entirely within enemy territory. It has effectively created a second identity for itself, one built entirely out of stolen molecules and mimicked behavior. Even now, researchers don't fully understand every mechanism at play here. How precisely the spider maintains the disguise over time, whether it needs to periodically refresh the scent through more contact with the brood, and how much of the mimicry is learned versus instinctive, all remain active areas of study. This isn't just a strange trick pulled off by one obscure species. It's a window into how deeply chemical communication shapes the insect world, a world running on signals we can't perceive at all. Every colony you've ever walked past could be hosting an intruder like this, right now, undetected. There's something unsettling in this story that goes beyond spiders and ants, a system built entirely around trusting a signal, rather than verifying the truth behind it. We'll always have a blind spot. Somewhere, something will learn to fake that signal well enough to walk through the front door unquestioned. Let's return to that image from earlier, the one that should still be sitting uncomfortably in your mind. A soft-bodied spider, resting quietly among the colony's own eggs, groomed in stolen chemistry, surrounded by the very soldiers sworn to kill anything that doesn't belong. And still, nothing moves against it. The real horror here isn't violence, it's invisibility. This isn't a predator that overpowers its victim through force. It's one that convinces an entire army it isn't there at all, feeding quietly on the colony's future while wearing the colony's own identity as a mask. But remember, this arrangement only holds as long as the performance is perfect. The moment that chemical signature fades, or a movement betrays the disguise, the same colony that tolerated this creature for weeks will end it within moments, with the same brutal efficiency it uses on any other threat. So this spider never truly relaxes. Every hour inside that colony is another hour the disguise must hold, another hour without a single mistake. It has traded the dangers of the open forest for a different kind of danger, one measured not in predators outside, but in exposure from within. This story is a reminder that the natural world isn't only shaped by claws, venom, and speed. Sometimes the most successful survival strategy isn't fighting your way in. It's convincing your enemy that you are always one of them, using their own trust against them, silently, patiently, and completely. So here's the question worth carrying with you after this video ends. If an entire army of specialized killers, refined over millions of years, can be fooled this completely by a disguise made of stolen chemistry, what other systems built on trust, in nature or otherwise, might already have an intruder inside, unnoticed? We started by asking how something this fragile survives inside a fortress built to destroy it. Now you know. Not through strength, not through luck, through a slow, precise theft of identity, chemical by chemical, movement by movement, until the fortress itself couldn't tell friend from imposter anymore. If this pulled you into a world you never knew existed, hiding in the leaf litter beneath your feet, subscribe, because there are far darker, far stranger stories from the natural world still waiting to be uncovered. The forest floor keeps its secrets well, but not from us, not anymore.